Hi friends. So we are going to start on actually drawing with our 2D tools, okay? Today we will be looking at 3 logos, and you should have this project sheet, which will be 3 videos. So the first video will be about this first logo, the Instagram logo. The second one is this abstract logo, and then the third one is this abstract pattern. And I'll walk you through how to draw each of these things, and the way that I am doing it is in order to give you an understanding of some of the various 2D drawing tools, okay? So even if you have some experience in Vectorworks or other drawing programs like Photoshop or Illustrator, I want you to try and walk through these using the tools that I'm recommending for a couple of reasons. One, it'll give you more familiarity with the tools and how they work. And then two, that practice using these tools will help getting your brain and your muscle memory in terms of keyboard shortcuts happening, right? So a lot of the tools you can access over here in this tool menu. You can also get to them using a keyboard shortcut. And so I'm going to be speaking as much as I can remember to the keyboard shortcuts as we go, and also sort of talking you through the different ways to approach each of these tools. I am recording this video on a Mac right now, so I will say Command as the modifier key for the keyboard because I'm on a Mac. If you are learning on a PC, you'll use Control instead of Command as your modifier for your keyboard shortcuts, and that will be generally true. I will try and say both words, but we'll see how it goes, right? Most of the keyboard shortcuts are pretty similar, so that is the good thing. And if not, there are ways to find them that I'll show you right now. So let's get started. Logo 1. We're going to start by drawing this Instagram logo, okay? And I've put some tips about how to do it here, but first we got to get a whole file going. So I'm going to come over here to the file menu. We're going to get a new file, and we want to make sure we're using the document template, right? So instead of create a blank document, you're going to choose use document template, and then you're going to choose the template that we built for this class as your document template. So that'll be your blank document for this project. Click OK. It's going to open up this blank file. The next thing that I want you to get in the habit of doing, and that tends to throw people for a loop, is as soon as you create this file, I want you to go ahead and you'll see it's like right here, untitled, watermarked, right? I want you to go ahead and save it, okay? So that you have this file in a specific place, okay? File, save. Where's the button? Oh, nothing to save. Save as. Give me a box. There it is. Okay, great. Here we go. And I had to go to save as in order to get it to work. I have this folder where I'm keeping all of my class documents. I'm going to actually create a new folder. I'm going to call it assignments. You should create a folder somewhere on your computer where you can find it again. And that should be where you keep all of your files for this class. When you name your files, what will be really helpful for me is if you start the file name with your name so that I can easily identify whose is whose as I download and look at them. So I'm saying Bartenstein logo project is the title I'm going to go with. If I'm doing a show, I'll frequently start it with the date so that that file name has the date right at the beginning and I can know which version I'm working from. But in this case, just an assignment, very early practice, Bartenstein logo project is going to be what I call this file, and I'm going to put it into my assignments folder. Save. Okay, so now I know where it is on my computer. I can pull that file up if I need it again. I'll be able to find it again later. Very important. Great. The logo for Instagram, right? We're looking at it. It has 2 rounded rectangles and a little circle and another little circle and yada da da da. Okay? So we're going to start with the rounded rectangle tool over here, okay? And you'll see when you hover over it, it looks like a picture of a rounded rectangle, and you hover over it, it gives you, in parentheses there, a keyboard shortcut, which in this case would be Option or Alt on a PC 4. Will pull that tool up. Since my mouse is already here, I'm just going to click on it with my mouse. Now my cursor is drawing rounded rectangles, okay? You'll see up here there are some options about this rounded rectangle tool. Those are how rounded the corners are. We're going to just leave it in its default mode, okay? And I'm just going to draw a little rounded rectangle. Now, as I draw it, you will see that it is slidey, right? If I would like it to be a square, like the Instagram logo, I'm going to hold Shift as I draw, right? And when I hold down Shift, now it's drawing a square instead of a rectangle, okay? So I hold Shift, draw my little rectangle, right? And then when I click again, it will create that shape, okay? Great. So now, there are a couple of ways that you can make that nice heavy line, right? You can go in and change the line weight. Instead of doing that, I actually want to use the offset tool, which will create a second line that parallels the line you have already. So that's over here, the offset tool, and it's Shift minus, which I never do. I always end up clicking on this button. So the offset tool, right, has a couple of options, right? Over here, it's like offset by distance or offset by point. Here, duplicate an offset or just offset, right? So this would move the original object. We actually want to duplicate the original object and create another line. And then distance is how far from the original object this second line will be. So let's use an offset of like 4 inches, and we're going to see how big that is, because I don't know how big this thing is, and see if that feels like it's a thick enough line. I think it's not quite, right? So I just clicked inside the existing object in order to get that offset. And then I hit Command Z to undo, right? So now I'm back. 4 inches feels too small. Let's see if 8 inches, which is double that, works better for me. This must be a very big rectangle. 8 inches still feels too small. We're going to do 10 inches. 10 inches, okay? Click inside. Great, I'm good with that. Okay, so now I went back to my cursor, right? And you can get your cursor again, your selection tool, by hitting the X key on your keyboards. So now I have these two shapes, right? I have an outside rectangle and an inside rectangle. What I want to do is actually cut out the inside rectangle from the outside rectangle so that it's just one shape, all right? So the way that I'll do that is I'll select the outside rectangle and the inside rectangle, and I'm holding down Shift as I click on them to select them both. And then I'm going to go up to Modify. Modify is all of the 2D drawing editing tools, right? So you can do things like aligning stuff, right? Rotating stuff, trim, join, whatever, okay? We're going to use this one here, Clip Surface. Here's your keyboard shortcut, which I never use. I always go to the menu. So we'll go to Clip Surface, and what it does is it removes the area. It says, as you hover over it, what it does, right? So it removes the area beneath overlapping surface objects. You can cut holes in objects, arrange them, select them all, and then choose this command, and that's what we're doing. So now I'm going to hit Clip Surface, okay? What that has done is it has cut out the inside of this Instagram logo. So now I have a separate rectangle that's solid, but I have this shape, which is what I really wanted. So I'm going to delete that separate rectangle that I don't need anymore, and select this shape, right, which is now just this outline. And in order to make it solid, right now it's solid white. You can kind of see the difference in the screen color. I'm going to make it solid black, and I'm going to do that by selecting it and then going over into the attributes, clicking on the color, and changing it to black, okay? So that is now a filled, rounded rectangle offset tool clip surface, okay? We're gonna use the same process for the circle, the like camera lens. We're gonna do the same thing, but we'll use the circle tool, keyboard shortcut 6, so I'm hovering over it. I'm gonna hit 6 just for fun, because here I am. I'm gonna start drawing this circle. So if you look up at the top over here, there are all these circle modes. The basic one is just click and draw, right? I'm not where I want to be, but that's okay. I'm just gonna draw this circle kind of wherever it's happening, right? And then I can move it to the center of this object. And I'm gonna just kind of roughly center it up. It's not perfect. If I want it to be perfect, here's what I do, right? I select these two things, I go to modify, I go to align, distribute, okay? And when I'm in align, distribute, I can say, please align the centers, right? And align the centers. And now it will center those two things. Perfect. So now it's perfectly centered. Great. I'm going to use the same process again, right? Where I do the offset tool to make this kind of bold. So I select the circle first, come over here, grab the offset tool, and then I can click inside it and it will create that second line. If I click outside of it, it will do the outside circle instead of the inside circle. And that's something that you can make a mistake on, right? So undo, right? If I click outside of it, now it's just a bigger circle. The other one is still there. You just can't see it because it's behind, okay? But we want the inside, so there it is, okay? Now I select these two circles. Once again, I go to modify, clip surface. Now I have a little circle over here that I don't need, bye-bye. And this one I can make solid, okay? So now we're just gonna do that little eyeball thing up at the top, right? The little flash or whatever it is on the Instagram thing. Another little circle. I'm just gonna kind of guess about where I want it. Draw it in, okay? And again, change it to be solid, okay? So that is my basic Instagram logo. Cool. Next video for you.